Now, he wrote the Beach Boys songs that provided the soundtrack for a generation. From Surfing Safari to Good Vibrations, Brian Wilson's music took off from California's West Coast and went right around the world.
Currently, he's in the middle of something of a revival, with recent performances at Glastonbury and Live 8. And now he's bringing the sound of the summer to Sussex. We sent our reporter Polly Evans to meet him.
Here on the East Sussex coast, we've got sun, we've got sea and we've got blue skies, and you'd be forgiven for expecting a Beach Boys soundtrack. Well, here it is, and I'm off to meet the creative genius behind it all.
If everybody had a nose across the USA, then everybody'd be served like California.
But the songs penned by Brian Wilson have a resonance beyond these images of summer sunshine. Pet Sounds, the album considered his masterpiece, is still being listened to generations on. Brian Wilson, it's
Hi.
a pleasure to meet you.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very well, how are you?
What's your name?
It's Polly.
Polly, it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Now, Pet Sounds, your great work, often now described as one of the greatest, if not the greatest album
Well,
ever
I'm very
written.
proud of that because it's a very emotional experience to hear it. It's a very emotional album.
Yeah, and how does it feel to hear those words being used about it, that it's the
It
greatest
feels good.
album?
It makes me feel very important. It makes me feel good.
Come on, this Luke John B.
Pet Sounds had signified a new maturity in Brian Wilson's music after the likes of Surfing Safari. And while he toured with the old favourites, its follow-up, Smile, was widely anticipated, but the pressure was getting to him. Smile, due for release in 1967, was abandoned until in 2004 it was finally released. Obviously, your nervous breakdown and your problems with drug addiction, the reason that you stepped off the world stage, have been well documented. How did you get through that?
I got through it because I had people that loved me to help me through it. They helped me out, helped me get through my hell.
And now you've done Live 8, you've done Glastonbury,
Yeah.
you've done Roskilde. How does it feel so many years on being on stage?
It feels good to be on stage because people like me and I enjoy playing for people.
Well, the East Coast girls are hip. I really dig those styles they wear. And the Southern girls, with the way they talk, they knock me out when I'm down there.
And it's been a pretty gruelling schedule over the last year. From the Queen's Jubilee to Live 8 in Berlin, Brian's performances have been well received. Perhaps more for the pleasure of seeing the legend back on stage than the strength of his voice.
As long as there are stars above you, you never need.
And now he's adding Brighton to the heady list.
I think Britain's my favorite place to play. Yeah.
Why?
Because people are friendly in Britain, very friendly.
And you know, you're older now. Do you think you'll be able to
Keep
to
trying.
carry on?
I probably have a few years in me to live, to perform, yeah.
Young and old were waiting for Brian after our interview. Who knows, maybe the sunseekers on the beach are imagining a Beach Boys soundtrack after all. Polly Evans, BBC Southeast Today, Eastbourne.
Marvellous.
They had some great hits, didn't
Absolutely.
they? And you've
But
been singing them all afternoon.
I have. I've been feet stomping all afternoon, but nobody told him that we don't wear those sort of loud shirts on the
That's
Sussex
the Beach
coast.
Boys. And if you're quick, you can see Brian Wilson at the Brighton Dome tomorrow night.